Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take a look here again at Solana, see what's going on. We're at 146.50. Looks like we're trying to see a little bit of a breakout here, but still, again, based on some conservative indicators here, it's not the best, most opportune time. However, we do have the lagging span free and clear with the conversion line over the baseline. Those are generally really favorable signs to consider along. But you got to keep that with a grain of salt because if Bitcoin pulls back, I think Solana will too. And we're kind of expecting Bitcoin to retrace. We're also well below the cloud here, and that's generally construed as a no-buy zone, right? So again, from a conservative standpoint, we got some good things going on here, but not great things just yet. And I know it can be difficult to want to wait a long time to find an opportunity like that, but again, it's just generally the best practice. But once more, we'll see here in a minute exactly what that looks like. We'll pull up our liquidation levels here and kind of double check a few key factors. And if you are new to the channel, just want to say thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope you can have a good learning experience, and obviously hit the like button if you could, please. Helps grow the channel, gets us in front of more people, and hopefully get less people destroyed. Because again, a little on the conservative side myself with my trading, and it's just kind of the way that you should be if you're going to be doing this full time. Okay. Now, having said all that, liquidation levels, if we look at Solana, are going to be different than Bitcoin. But to clarify, Bitcoin is looking like it should pull back once it fills the CME gap. We'll discuss that later, or just watch my video, of course, probably best to just kind of help understand my thoughts there. But when it comes to Solana, we're going to look at this here, and we kind of recognize that there are some liquidation levels here getting close to the price action. Basically, these previous shorts are subject to destruction, I guess you could say. Now, why would you have a short at 148 and still be holding without taking profits? I don't know. That's just crazy to me. But once more, stranger things can happen, right? So if we look here, 149 to 150, there's a good chunk of liquidation. We zoom in a little bit, we can see that that's somewhere in the range of one half. Each one of those is about 600-700. So wow, we're looking about maybe $3.5 billion between 147 and 150. It may not seem like a lot, but it is a decent chunk. There's also way more than that down as low as 135, 134. So me personally, taking a long right now seems kind of risky, even though it's probably you're probably going to be able to find some profit to the upside. It does look like it wants to break free from this local range here. And the general consensus is that that's a positive sign. We look at the daily though. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with the daily time frame and quickly recognize a few key factors. So when we're looking at TD sequential on the daily, we can see we saw this overextension and the price pullback. And the same thing occurred with Bitcoin. So just know that we still got potential further downside at this point because we're only getting started from a momentum standpoint. Doesn't mean it's going to continue, just know that's a thing. We're also rejecting here tentatively. Again, today's candlestick hasn't closed yet, but we're right there underneath the 20-day SMA. Okay, that's generally unfavorable. You want to be above that to take along with confidence. Bitcoin's kind of above it right now, but it's got a lot of resistance above the price action. And again, just to clarify, I think there's a strong potential Bitcoin does pull back here in the relative near future. Maybe not a massive pullback, but at the very least to retest the local lows. And I think that's a possibility here. But once more, we got a CME gap there for Bitcoin, and I'll just pull it up here. We're basically half filled. So if you pull up this chart here, majority, if not, well, I guess you could say we waked up pretty good to 61.1 or 61.6. So the truth is, when you see all that those CME gaps, those different fair value gaps, for example, Solana has a pretty big one too. You got to respect the fact that those could get hit eventually. It's not a guarantee it's going to get hit right now, though. Okay, but once you usually break into that range, it does tend to run. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this fair value gap filled at 155 for Solana in the relative near future, just based on the way that Bitcoin is kind of trying to progress towards 62K. However, we did look at our local point of control, 144. There's a support level there. Because ever since we've been in this range, we can see the most amount of volume at 144, okay? And that's concurrent in a lot of ways with this area here in liquidation, right? We got this 140, 135. That's all below that support. So it makes sense as to why those longs are in good shape, or they feel comfortable taking maybe higher leverage based on that sentiment, okay? Either way, that's a sidebar, but let's quickly clarify here. On the RSI, we're still under 50. Bitcoin is as well. Until we break above 50 in the RSI on the daily or the 4 hour, there's no reason to get super excited. We're seeing stochastic still swinging down, MACD's diverging. Not a whole heck of a lot of positive. Now we look at the 4 hour, same scenario here. We're under 50 in the RSI. Money flow index is low, and stochastic, while it's swinging up, and that's a very positive sign in most cases, this is not a there's not like a super strong push, okay? Same thing with MACD, it's trying. Again, a lot of momentous indicators, same thing with Bitcoin, are showing we have convergences. You look at Bitcoin, we just converged on the MACD. It's generally a good bullish sign, but there's so many other resistances in place where the price action is rejecting out and not moving forward. So again, it's not a guarantee, but I would much rather take SMAs and RSIs over a momentous indicator, just because of the simple fact that momentum is one thing, but resistances are others, right? It's good to have momentum when you break a resistance, which we are not there yet. Once we do, maybe it's a different story. But for right now, I think it's a little premature. We're underneath all moving averages. Keep in mind all the SMAs here are hanging out in this fair value gap too. So it does imply the price does come up to this 150, 155 range. It's probably a solid consideration for the price to pull back. In fact, we could even gauge that this is the beginning of an ABC pattern, which is what Bitcoin is showing as well, right? So we got our ABC on the way down. So again, just some things to kind of be mindful of. Let's take a quick look at the hourly. Let's clarify this here. So on the hourly time frame, Ichimoku cloud, again, just to kind of confirm, we're below the cloud, which is generally unfavorable. This is a resistance range for us here, okay? So upper and lower lead are resistances. So the price generally will come up and reject off either or in a bullish scenario, the price will come up here, it'll consolidate, and it'll take off. Right? That's what we're looking for, because that'll establish higher lows, right? We need that. We don't have higher lows or higher highs yet. We're simply trying to break through our local resistance, which isn't happening yet, okay? So again, trying to get super excited while the price action looks pretty decent here in kind of a piss poor kind of way. I think it's less likely we're going to see a surge from Solana. If we do, again, 155, I would say is the top, and that'd be a perfect place to consider shorting. So I'm just going to go ahead and add alert here at this 0.618 fib level, and I'll go ahead and post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord for you, just so you can kind of see what this looks like. But generally speaking, this is not a phenomenal situation for Solana. It's looking pretty weak compared to a majority of other altcoins, which does imply it could break out, but it also implies that it has a lot of resistance. Okay, and we got to respect that until it doesn't. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.